Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I wanted to share a couple of changes I have made to my character and my build. So let's get to it. The first thing, as you can see, I'm no longer a succubus. I have changed gender and now I am a Saint Seiya Golden Warrior. Or Golden Saint, I think it's called in the anime. Also, I have replaced my name. I changed my name to my real nickname I always use in Element of Fee. Just a clarification about this. This has nothing to do with I scam someone and I'm no longer Quintessa because I'm trying to, to make another character and let people think that Quintessa no longer plays. No, it's not. It's nothing related to that. In fact, Elemenofi is the first name of my first character in Throne and Liberty. But at the beginning, I created different characters as I was gaining experience. And as you know, we could not reuse the name of a deleted character until recently. So now I'm back at using it. Okay, it's nothing related to that. In fact, I think that if you add someone to the feud list, it doesn't matter if they change the name. You will see that that you have a new character in your field list, and that's it. So you always keep track of the people you have feud. Okay, this is about the name, about the character. Now about the build. I'm still using the same items as always. However, I have already made my decision about which heroics I'm going to use. And it's the one, and it's the clock. Why? I've been really debating into whether picking the crossbow or the one, and ultimately I decided for the one. Why? Because the crossbow is not really that an improvement above Berkan. It is a huge improvement if we compare that with Akman, because Akman doesn't have bonus damage. But when we compare it with Berkan, the difference is just some little bonus damage. I think it was 8. Let's check this here. Let me remove this. Whatever. When we compare the crossbow with Berkan, yes, on paper it's like 8 and 34. But when we count the Berkan's skill, this is just 9 damage difference. It's only 8 bonus damage difference. But it's not even 9 max damage difference because Berkan has more stats. We are comparing 20 stats against 17. So if I recall correctly, it was something like a 6 or a 7 different in max damage. And you will say, okay, but you can use the Berkan skill in the crossbow and boost even more the damage. Yes, you can do that. But what most people are going to do is add Akman or Belandir to the heroic crossbow. They are not going to add a Berkan skill. And why I love Berkan? If you have been following me so far, you know that I prefer Berkan much than Akman. In fact, most of the time I'm using Berkan, like right now. Why? Because this combination of bonus damage and the mana recovery, it's a lot. Also, this effect to max damage is not only for crossbow, it also affects the wand's skills. So with Berkan, we do more damage with the ray, for example, we do more damage with the curses. So we heal more actually because we have a higher average base damage. So Berkan is pretty good. And that's the reason I decided to go with the one. Also, why the one? Because the one is more versatile. As you know, I like to keep things versatile. I don't like to focus on a specific build. And with the one, I can switch between playing DPS, playing support, or even play the Relator again, or play other characters. Meanwhile, with the crossbow, I'm pretty much locked into playing Fury, maybe a Scorpion, maybe a Scout, but for me the one has more upside. Also, the one is much better for PvE, because for PvE, the biggest base damage in the one, the more damage are the curses going to do. So basically the one is better overall in my opinion. Now, about the traits and the heroic effects. I will speak about this later, but let's speak about why the cape. I was really torn between obtaining the cape, between using the cape or using the helmet, because both are very good. I dropped the cape, I got this heroic stats. I really didn't like them, only evasion, but I didn't want critical chance and I didn't want melee defense. So eventually I tried to buy another one. This was even worse because I have endurance, melee defense and evasion. This is pretty bad. I'm considering either dissolving this or replace the trait with conversion stones to then fit that into this one. I have made a decision about that. So why I did ultimately decide to stay with the cape and not the helmet? Because if we compare all the items, specifically these two, what cape was I using earlier? I was using this one. Okay, bonus damage, I think. I was not using melee evasion, so I don't care. Magic evasion, 170. For PvE, I was using the other one. The one that boosts attack speed. But it's the same. 7.5% attack speed, range evasion, 180. This cape is already better than all that at level 4, at level 4, sorry. If I recall correctly, it was already better than those two capes combined, and eventually it will be much better. So that's why I'm deciding to stick with the cape. Also, because we have good alternative, we have good picks for the helmet. I'm using right now the First Light Halo, but this could also be the Lotus helmet, it could be the Spectral helmet, it could be the Sacred helmet. There are many good choices. In contrast, for the cape, we don't have that much choices. And that's why I decided to stick with the cape. Now, returning to the heroic effects on the cape, on the one. Because on the cape it's pretty much trivial. It's going to be max heal, skill damage resistance, debuff duration, and I have evasion and critical chance, and I'm going to switch melee defense for bonus damage. Ideally, I would prefer here to have hit, but maybe later on when we don't have this scarcity problem we have right now with the shards, I may change it. But so far, for now, me, it's going to be critical. So let's talk about the wand effects. My wand right now has strength and magic hit. I don't like these two, okay? I will need to reroll them because I would like ideally to have hit, not magic hit, because I'm doing a lot of attacks with the crossbow. Strength may be good, but I prefer to have more cooldown, for example. Okay, so this will be my baseline. Hit and cooldown speed. But here's the trick with the heroic effects. Is it really worth it to pick stats instead of attributes? Look at this. Wisdom 14, Perception 14. If we compare the two builds, what do I have? The one with attributes has a lot more damage. What does this mean? This means first, more burst damage into the mark. Secondly, more curse damage in PvE. Third, increased healing. So basically everything is related to damage. The higher the average, the better. So we are seeing here a pretty good boost. But also, when you add 14 of all the stats, you can probably reach 2 breakpoints, not only one. I mean, you are getting one guarantee because it's 14, so at least you are adding 10 points to a stat. But if you are adding 4 extra points to that stat, probably you can add another 6. So you can do something like this, 80, 80 and 90. And this means that you are reaching, just by adding double attributes, you are probably unlocking 4 bonus stats, okay? And if we run the comparison, what do we have here? For example, I have more bonus duration, okay? The one using specifically hit and cooldown speed has more cooldown speed, but not that much, only 6.5%. It has more hit. Okay, it has more hit, but this one has much more damage. So what's this different? This different is like if both are attacking the same target, this one has like 8% more chance of hitting that target. 8% more chance when you are fighting 200 shots in 10 seconds is nothing. That's nothing. So that's why it's not really that good compared to the extra damage, because the extra damage is affecting everything. Also, look at this mana, a lot more. Look at this mana regen, a lot more. Also, having this nice mana, 12,000 mana, increases the damage by using this specialization, this mastery. So that's a lot. So basically, is it worth it to always go for specific stats instead of attributes? For all the potential comparison I have been doing, for example, instead of cooldown adding attack speed and this attack speed and adding dexterity and so on, it's always the same situation. The left side, let's say, have more min-max stats, but the right side have better overall stats. So I'm going to try to get this. Wisdom 14, Perception 14. So this means I have to roll my 2 heroic effects right now, because remember that I have Magic Hit and Strength. The only scenario where it's better to pick the stat instead of the attributes is with heavy attack. Why? Because heavy attack is not increased by attributes. It's only increased when you reach the 50 strength, and that's it. Or maybe when you reach the 80 strength as well. But it's not like attack speed or the buff duration or cooldown speed or buff duration or hit, that for every point you are adding something. So only for heavy it's better to pick the heavy effect. For all the other scenarios, at least for the builds I have made, it's always better to pick an attribute. This considering that you don't want to min-max a specific stat. For example, if I wanted to min-max hit because I want to specifically focus evasion targets with my magic skills, I have no choice but to add hit and magic hit, for example. But this is not the case for me. It's not the case for a Fury, because I said we do so many hits between regular attacks, quick fire, Mother's Nature, vampiric procs, ray. So many hits that we don't care if some miss. We are not a liberator, a buyer, or a gladiator, something that if miss an attack, they are going to, to notice that. Having said that, the last update is, if you recall in my last video, I said that Evasion was probably dead, because we can no longer build enough Evasion given the amount of hit we can build. However, as you can see, I'm still building Evasion. I have Evasion in the cave. I have Evasion everywhere. This is not finished yet, okay? But I have Evasion everywhere. Potentially, I will end up with a little more magic evasion, because remember that I'm not adding artifact effects here, only the bonus damage. So potentially I will end up with more magic evasion, because I really don't care about range. Yes, lately I have seen a lot of infiltrators and scouts, especially in Dominion, and they are hitting hard. Really, I don't know why people say those are weak classes, because bring me all the gladiators you want, I can kill them most of the time, but an infiltrator is for me the hardest challenge. Maybe tied in the first place with a scorpion. So I don't know why people are making fun of infiltrator. They are literally one-shotting me most of the time as well, with the heroic crossbow and Berkan skill, if I recall correctly. They can basically one-shot you with decisive sniping. So I don't know why people are making fun of that class, to be honest. Probably following the herd as usual, instead of having their own opinions. So returning to the point of evasion, as I said in the last video, yes, evasion may be dead if people abuse this and use double hit. But the thing is that no one is doing that. I don't know anyone doing that. Everyone is either adding attributes maybe adding just one of them, but most likely boosting critical. People are like crazy boosting critical lately. I don't know why, but people are like crazy trying to go glass cannon and build a critical. Critical, cooldown speed, attack speed. So basically what we have is that nothing have really changed. The Evasion that was working before Heroic is still working now. Just this Evasion is working. I don't know what they have right now in the game. Let me check. See, it's pretty much similar. In fact, I have a little more range evasion, but it's similar. And this is working. This is working for magic attacks. This is working for range attacks. Obviously, when a Scorpion is attacking you, it's the same as a Fury. They are doing 200 attacks in a second. So it doesn't matter that you avoid half of them. The other half are going to kill you with a stigma. So it's the same. That's why I said I am not much worried about range evasion. I will try to boost magic evasion even more. I would like to have something like 2.4 base magic evasion, more or less, because that will become like 3.3 after, you know, after moving and adding the passive, this passive over here, etc. So for now I will stick with evasion because I hate endurance. I try to cook something with endurance, but I really hate that stat. I don't know why, what is it, but I prefer to not have endurance at all than having some little endurance. I'm just against that stat. So this is it. Well, one final update. I used to have two different characters in Questlog. The one public, let's say, and the one I was always linking in videos, etc., and other where I was cooking some builds. But I decided to mix both of them, and this is the one I have been always using. And what I did was move this section over here, let's say. Just a disclaimer. Everything in the orange group has not been tested. As I always say, and I say in the description over here, I don't like to theory craft potential builds and maybe this world, maybe not. Whatever it's in the blue group is something I'm using right now. So this is based on experience. That's why it's not min-max. It doesn't have perfect accessories, it doesn't have perfect runes, it doesn't have chaos rune everywhere, it doesn't have artifact, etc. It's what I'm using right now, okay? Meanwhile, in the orange group, it's something that I will be working towards too. I'm still trying to decide. I have different builds here, and when I made my mind about this, I will just promote, let's say promote it to the blue group. So that's it. Take the orange builds with a grain of salt, because some things may be maybe a crazy idea. For example, this one between comparing hit and cooldown speed versus stats. That's what I think is going to happen, that the one using the attribute is going to be better. But maybe it's a crazy idea. Maybe that's pointless. So as I always say, don't follow blindly what you see on YouTube and make your own informed decisions. Okay? Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.